Hey everyone, good morning, good Monday morning. I hope everyone's weekend went amazing. Week 2 of NFL, week 3 of CFB. Man, I couldn't ask for a better jam-packed weekend. Was wonderful. So much that I looked forward to and my expectations were met. And right now, we're talking about the Big 12. We're talking about your SunDevils and our place in the Big 12 because, it's a new conference and we begin our conference play on Saturday. Your SunDevils are going to Lubbock, Texas, going back to Texas on a week after headed to San Marcos, but we're back in Lubbock. Lubbock's an interesting spot. It's more on like the northwestern part of Texas. It's a little further away from all the metropolitans, so I'm sure it's recognized as a signature college town. So this is going to be really cool just to see how our SunDevils do in our first Big 12 away matchup. Something about these Big 12 schools is that they pack these stadiums. They bleed football. You can see that just in the games that happened this previous weekend. And I'm referencing the Kansas State game, Manhattan, Kansas, and I'm also referencing the TCU game in Fort Worth. Basically, those two Big 12 matchups, they didn't disappoint. I was very shocked to see UCF come back from down 7-28 and to knock off TCU. The final score ended up being 35-34, so they scored 4 touchdowns in the second half while holding TCU to only 2 field goals. That game was remarkable. I love the play from RJ Harvey. KJ Jefferson definitely can be the reason why they don't stay consistent, but RJ Harvey's legit. I really like to see what the UCF team can do. I am very excited to host them in the future in November. But back to the point, going to these Big 12 stadiums, it's a legitimate thing. What I was not shocked by was seeing UofA completely get slaughtered in the second half by Kansas State. It looked like a competitive game in the first half, but once Kansas State made their adjustments and UofA's lack of adjustments, it was definitely a matchup that I was expecting. I knew Kansas State was going to dominate at home. They have a lot of momentum right now, and they were trying to get through some kinks after a tough Tulane win the previous week. But we're here right now talking about the Big 12 and ASU's place in the Big 12. Right now, we're playing Tech on Saturday, and my impression is this simple. I think we are a ranked top 25 team if we can knock off Tech this weekend. Tech is a really interesting story because they got dominated by Washington State, but after last week, Washington State won the Apple Cup against Washington. They proved that they're a formidable opponent. So maybe that was just a game of momentum, a game of Wazoo's traction and energy, and it took over. But Texas Tech worked through their kinks, and they annihilated North Texas in a 66-21 win. So that definitely projects a lot more confidence for the Red Raiders. What I'm really excited about for this game is the talent of Tahj Brooks. I cannot wait to see how our defense fares against the very talented running back. I like Tahj Brooks as a top 5 running back in the Big 12, and ultimately, yeah, we'll talk about some of my players to watch in the Big 12. I'm going to do some more Big 12 breakdown segments. But right now, it's about ASU's place, and we're on the top right now. We are on the top half of the Big 12. So going into it, I really love us against Texas Tech. If we can work up the confidence to be a Texas Tech team in Lubbock, then we will have the liberty of having a bye week, and we don't have to worry about football for the rest of September. That would just stamp a great September month for the team, for the coaching, and obviously after that Texas State game, the adrenaline is still there because we faced our only adversity this season in San Marcos last Thursday. Last Thursday's game proved everything to me. It showed me that we were a balanced team, that we were not one-dimensional, and it also showed me that our coaching is legit. If anything was portrayed from that game, it's the fact that Coach Brian Ward made the correct in-game adjustments. Our defense is very, very turnover happy. We love to get that ball in our hands. And then Coach Kenny Dillingham, Marcus Arroyo, and Sam Levitt. What a trifecta. I love how they were able to complement each other. The play calls were good. The timing was perfect. And it was exactly what I needed to see to feel more reassured about our team. I love our offense right now. I love Jordan Tyson's breakout game, but more importantly, it's about establishing and staying true to this identity. I feel like the identity has been established, but now that we're in the Big 12 and we're going into conference play, we need to reestablish that force. Coming back again with the AMA segment, and I cannot wait. On today's AMA segment, we have a good comment by Coyote Long, and it says, "This is exactly the game we would have had lost badly the past few years once falling behind 21-7. This team is tough as nails to hold Texas State to just one more tutty the rest of the game and come all the way back to win the way they did." He's right. He is 100% right. Past few years have been tough for this football program, and undoubtedly they would have lost that game to Texas State. They would have let that one slip out of its hands, and unfortunately, that has been what has been the precedent for this team. But right now, you can visibly see a culture shift. You can see that everyone is legitimately bought in, from fans to the team to the coaches. Everyone's bought in right now, and we never wavered. I loved that drive before we put some points on the board when we were down 21-7. It was Jordan Tyson on 3rd and 11, and it was Jordan Tyson for 52 yards. Sam Levitt knew what he was doing. The scheme was really detailed and catered to his skill set. It was, okay, it's all good. If our run game isn't doing well, we'll still feed off of the run game because we're doing play action. So we're not going to give Texas State the comfort or impression that we're going to stop and fray away from our identity. We're going to remain consistent, and that is what we did. We kept doing those play action plays. We only put Sam Levitt in empty set a few times, just when it was on those manageable first downs or second downs where we just wanted to get some 4 or 5 yards. Look, this entire team right now, I'm so excited to see how they do in the Big 12. My most important aspect of this team is just the coaching. I see a visible difference with having Brian Ward as a defensive coordinator, and I see a visible difference in Sam Levitt's confidence now that he knows he has Kenny Dillingham right there waiting for him on the sideline. It's good stuff. He's very supportive of the young kid, and it's good. It's really reassuring to see that this team has some sort of direction. What do I really feel like going into Lubbock, Texas? I feel great. Really do. And giving our guys 10 days to rest up. Everyone came back home happy. They had their first away game, and it was really a good core memory, a game to remember. These guys definitely grew closer together because of the game in San Marcos. But the season has just begun. Job's not finished, not even close. We still have a good 8 games to play, hopefully 12 if we're playing for a Big 12 championship. But you never give up. Even when you have the lead, you cannot give up. The greatest expression of that phrase right there is TCU giving up a 28-7 lead to UCF. And they were at their home field. They did it in front of their family weekends. They did it for everyone who was a diehard Horned Frog fans who watched that team go into a college football playoff and beat a good Michigan team. Look, Sonny Dykes is a legit coach, right? That doesn't deflate the fact that he could still lose. He could still blow a lead. It resonates with every coach in Division I. You never seek comfort. You fight through adversity and you smile through it. And I just love how this team responded to Texas State, as that team was talented. Hobert, he's a great wide receiver. Ismaili, he's a great running back. They had talented guys. Jordan McLeod, he's a journeyman in college football, but that just infers that he's experienced in college football. So what our game plan was, it was well executed. I am not going to fret because anyone who just didn't watch the game will devalue our opponent. They'll be like, well, it's Texas State, the Sun Belt Conference. It doesn't matter. College football resonates with everyone. We've seen upsets week in and week out. They only within the first 3 weeks this year. Never seek comfort. And that's exactly what this team is doing. So now that we have some Big 12 agendas, Big 12 games right coming up the corner, I like us. I really can't wait to play the Red Raiders. This is going to be a very competitive game. I just know we are going to respond on both halves. We are in every single facet of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. This team will be bought in going into Lubbock, playing for each other. So what am I most looking forward to on Saturday? Well, I'm most looking forward to Cam Scatterboo, of course. I love to see the running game be established, and I want to see some more consistency from the guys, especially in Raleek Brown. But I'm not gonna sway from my take. We still have a top 3 running back room in the Big 12, and we just need to show them that. We need to prove it. We need to provide good evidence, and that's going to be our story this year. We have a great running game, and we are able to feed off the running game and prove that we are multidimensional. Because that's what we're seeing right now from a lot of these struggling Big 12 teams. Kansas knocked off by freaking UNLV in Kansas. They lost on their home turf, and you know why? Because they didn't prove that they were multidimensional. Yeah, Jalen Daniels is very athletic. He snuck a really good QB run in, but their one dimension is simple. Devin Neal or nothing. They don't got the guys to give Jalen Daniels that comfort within the passing game. He had 2 costly turnovers just like he did the week before where he had 3. This guy is struggling, and any team is going to capitalize off of that. So, of course, Devin Neal is their entire identity right now, and they got a lot of work to do now that they're 1-2. But as of right now, it's the same case with UofA. They're one-dimensional. It's either throw it to McMillan, T-Mac, which is obviously a top 10 bona fide receiver going into the draft next year. He's legit. Or it's Fafita just looking for a mesh concept, a short yard pass. I have not seen anyone move the chains like our team has done yet. Oklahoma State, yeah, they're going to be legit. We'll see how we do against them. Kansas State, UofA probably made them look better than they are, but they are still a legit team. I really like the running back room and Dylan Edwards and DJ Giddens, and that's probably our biggest competition in terms of running back rooms. But again, we have to play a Texas Tech team and take it week by week because we'll play all these teams that are struggling right now. That is for another week. The conversation is for the future. But right now, we're living in the present, and we got 6 days until we start our Big 12 campaign. So let's get to it, guys. Forks up, activate the Valley, let's get bought in, and I'll see you guys at the Kansas game. Thank you guys for watching.